Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar where we are going to review the enhanced IEC editor. If you have any questions, you can just put them into the panel anytime and we can get to those at the end.
Hello and welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to be doing a review of Cscape's enhanced IEC editor. Let's get started. Let's look at our agenda for today. We'll start by looking at what enhanced IEC is, which is the main focus for today. We'll look at why enhanced IEC exists and how it works. We're going to talk about the top 5 benefits of enhanced IEC, how you enable enhanced IEC, and then how you can try it. Cscape offers multiple programming options for logic. You can choose between traditional advanced ladder, which includes both register-based and variable-based advanced ladder, and standard IEC programming languages. These IEC languages follow a standardized approach, with 4 primary languages and a total of 5 options available. This flexibility allows customers to select the programming method that best suits their needs. Now we'll discuss how this works at runtime. In Cscape, our application development software, which is entirely free, we offer 3 programming options: register-based advanced ladder, variable-based advanced ladder, and standard IEC. For the ladder-based options, once you've developed your program and performed the download, the code is directly loaded into your OCS and executed by the Horner Runtime Logic Engine. However, with standard IEC, there's an additional step. Before the code can be downloaded, it needs to go through a conversion process. This process, while it adds a bit of extra time, can also affect the number of variables you can use in a project and introduce a slight delay in execution. This delay isn't significant, maybe around 10%, but it's worth noting that there's a small penalty both in terms of variable count and execution speed with standard IEC. So what is enhanced IEC? For years, Horner has supported IEC programming and we've had many satisfied customers using this approach. However, these customers have expressed a desire for increased program variable capacity and a removal of the approximately 10% execution speed penalty they incur at runtime. They want to have the same speed and capacity benefits that advanced ladder users have. Therefore, we recognised the importance of delivering these improvements and concluded that the best way to achieve this was by fundamentally changing the way IEC is executed in the OCS. Here we have the updated diagram, which now includes enhanced IEC. The first 3 languages remain unchanged, but we've introduced enhanced IEC. When you develop your program with enhanced IEC in Cscape, you'll notice it runs directly on the Horner OCS. However, it operates within a separate runtime logic engine dedicated to enhanced IEC. This approach was chosen as the most effective way to implement the IEC enhancements while maintaining compatibility with the OCS controller. Due to this fundamental change in execution, there are some important considerations. Firstly, we had to incorporate licensed code into the firmware that operates the second runtime engine on the Horner OCS. It's important to note that not all code in Cscape is developed from scratch. Some parts are licensed. Additionally, because we now require space for 2 runtime engines, depending on the selected language, we needed larger OCS memory locations for both flash and RAM to accommodate this. Consequently, not all OCS models can support these enhancements due to the increased memory requirements. To address this, instead of replacing standard IEC with enhanced IEC, we introduced enhanced IEC as an option. This way, all our platforms, from the lowest to the highest end, can be programmed in IEC, whether that's standard or enhanced. The lower end products support only standard IEC, while the rest of the product line can use either. Now we'll consider how these product lines align with programming options. If you're working with XL Series or XL Prime Series, you have the flexibility to choose between standard IEC or enhanced IEC. However, for the XLT or Micro OCS series, your options are more limited, primarily to standard IEC or the advanced ladder languages. Keep in mind that with these lower end platforms, you'll typically use standard IEC if you opt for IEC programming. IEC isn't just about larger variable support and faster execution. It encompasses more than that. The 5 major benefits of enhanced IEC include increased variable capacity, faster runtime, logic simulation, and advanced troubleshooting capabilities, comprehensive system event handling, improved ASCII and string handling instructions, and enhanced string handling advantages for certain applications. We'll look at these aspects in more detail. Enhanced IEC offers a flexible Modbus map, which differs from traditional Modbus. Let's begin by exploring the 5 enhancements, starting at number 5. With enhanced IEC, internal memory denoted by %or, %m, and %t no longer exists. For those familiar with Horner and Modbus, there's a standard Modbus map that typically aligns Horner registers with Modbus registers. However, with the absence of %ors, %ms, and %ts, this Modbus map becomes unusable. Enhanced IEC users can now create their custom Modbus maps in the network configuration. You can allocate arrays for Modbus holding registers, Modbus input registers, Modbus input bits, and Modbus output coils. By sizing these arrays accordingly, you can control what data is shared through these 4 register types, effectively crafting your personalized Modbus map. This flexibility suits customers who prefer limiting access to specific data, such as a few holding registers or input registers for their machines. Now we'll discuss the 4th improvement, which is enhanced string handling. In the other 3 languages, advanced ladder, register-based, and variable-based, as well as standard IEC, strings are typically treated as byte data, where each character corresponds to 2 bytes in register-based logic. In variable-based languages, byte arrays represent characters. However, these languages lack extensive string handling instructions. While some basic string functions exist in standard Cscape languages, we've introduced about 20 additional dedicated string instructions in enhanced IEC. Furthermore, enhanced IEC features a string data type enabling a wide range of string functions. This enhanced string handling is especially beneficial for applications involving barcode data, print data, or even database information, providing a significant advantage. Now we'll discuss enhancement number 3, comprehensive system event handling. In an enhanced IEC project navigator, you'll find the standard logic modules for your main loop and subroutines, but there are 4 additional modules at the bottom dedicated to exceptions. These structured text-based modules serve specific purposes. Firstly, there's one for handling startup events, allowing you to execute code whenever the controller starts up. Secondly, there's a dedicated module for shutdown events, enabling code execution during controller shutdowns. This provides a means for more elegant reactions to unexpected errors. For instance, in variable-based languages, we often use arrays with indexes. Accidentally assigning a negative index or one larger than the array size can lead to problems. Enhanced IEC allows you to program structured text to handle such situations. While you hope these issues never arise, having code in place ensures the equipment responds as desired. Additionally, if a divide by zero math error occurs, you can configure a routine to dictate the machine's response in that scenario. These comprehensive system event handling features surpass the capabilities of other options. Now, reason number 2 for choosing Enhanced IEC: logic simulation and advanced troubleshooting tools. This is a significant advantage for many users. Let's acknowledge that in IEC languages, especially when using loops like for next loops and do while loops, various issues can arise. You might mix up indexes or inadvertently create an infinite loop. Enhanced IEC allows you to test your program logic without a connected OCS controller. Even if it's connected, you can evaluate your logic before downloading it. This proves invaluable, especially for complex code that requires fine-tuning. There are some handy tools available. For example, you can execute instructions step by step, aiding in troubleshooting. You can run one scan at a time, checking the results at the end of each scan. Setting breakpoints in your logic allows you to examine what occurs up to a certain point when execution pauses. Another useful feature is setting trace points. You can attach a variable to a trace point, allowing you to monitor its value throughout the scan. Regular troubleshooting would only show the value at the scan's end, but with trace points, you can track every value and its timing, which can be exceptionally valuable. Therefore, one of the primary advantages of Enhanced IEC is undoubtedly its logic simulation and advanced troubleshooting tools. Our top reason, which we've already discussed, is the expanded variable capacity and faster runtime execution with Enhanced IEC. In contrast to the 10,000 variables supported before, you can now utilize over 64,000 variables. Importantly, there's no execution penalty when running IEC or Enhanced IEC compared to the same code programmed with Horner Advanced Ladder. This sums up our number 1 reason. Now we'll discuss how to enable Enhanced IEC in Cscape. Firstly, ensure that standard IEC is enabled before selecting the enhanced version. To enable standard IEC, go to Tools and then to Application Settings. Under Application at the bottom, you'll find various program types for new files. By default, Support IEC may not be checked. Below that, there's another checkbox for Support Enhanced IEC, which is also unchecked by default. If you want to exclusively use Enhanced IEC for all of your IEC programs, check this box. Otherwise, leave it unchecked if you plan to mix and match standard and enhanced IEC. Step 2 is to navigate to the Tools, Editor Options and Compiler Options section. Check the Enhanced IEC Mode checkbox. Please note the Display/Validate License button on the screen indicating that Enhanced IEC is a licensed feature. Now we'll discuss why Enhanced IEC isn't free. Remember, at the beginning we mentioned adding a unique runtime engine with licensed code for Enhanced IEC. We need to cover the cost of that license somehow. At Horner, we had 2 choices. We could increase the price of every OCS as Enhanced IEC was included with all of them. Alternatively, we could offer customers using this feature the option to pay a reasonable licensing fee. We chose the latter approach. While IEC is popular worldwide, it's still only used in a fraction of applications, maybe around 25% or so. We didn't want to increase the price for every controller, especially when only a relatively small percentage of our customers would use this feature. The good news is, Our upcoming Canvas series, set to launch with Cscape 10, all Canvas units will include enhanced IEC without the need for extra licensing. It will come pre-licensed from the factory. Additionally, it will also come pre-licensed for MQTT Sparkplug and WebMI, which are features that currently require licensing in the XL series and XL Prime series. Now we'll have a demonstration of the licensing procedure and all the different steps and things that you need to follow when you are licensing a unit for enhanced IEC. Here's the unit that we're going to license, which is an EXLW. Remember, only the XL series from the XL4 up, the XL Prime series, as well as the majority of the RCCs can be used with enhanced IEC. So you must have a unit that is compatible. Whenever we're licensing anything, we want to make sure the time and date are relatively accurate. The other thing you will need when you're licensing Horner products is a micro SD memory card. So if we go to the system menu here and look under removable media, even though there aren't any files on there, we do have a removable media card ready to go. With enhanced IEC, you only need the removable media card for the licensing process. After the license has been administered, you can remove the card and you're good to go. So just something to keep in mind. You need an eligible unit, you need time and date to be set accurately, and you need a memory card. And the other thing is, you need your controller to be communicating with Cscape, whether that's over Ethernet or over USB, whatever your normal connection would be. Now we'll go to Cscape. So we have our program open here, and it would need to be an IEC program. Remember, if you haven't enabled IEC, you do that through the Tools Application Settings option down here. So you need to make sure IEC is set. If you're always going to be doing enhanced IEC, you can check the check mark, and then every time you open a new IEC program, it will automatically be enhanced. But if you only sometimes use enhanced IEC, then the way you switch from standard IEC to enhanced IEC is also in the Tools menu, but this time in the Editor options under Compiler options, and you make sure that the checkbox is also checked. So this also happens to be the area in which we can license our controller for enhanced IEC. So again, we want to make sure that we're connected, and we are connected over Ethernet with the controller. So the other thing we make sure of before we go to display and validate the license is that the computer is connected to the internet, because all the licensing information is going to require the internet to be deployed, at least from the standpoint of either registering a new voucher as a new license or in looking up a license that may already exist for this controller. So when we press Display Validate License, it tells us two things. First of all, it tells us that it's not licensed for enhanced IEC. It also tells us the MAC address of the OCS we're connected to, and that's important. If you see that it was able to read the MAC address, it means we're connected to the unit, and it can verify there's no license when we're able to get on the internet and check the licensing server. So if we press OK here, it pulls up another dialog that allows us to go ahead and obtain the license or effectively license the unit. So we're going to press the Obtain License button here, and now it's asking for a voucher code. To get a voucher code, you would normally place an order with your distributor or wherever you normally buy Horner products. And when you purchase Enhanced IEC license, you'll be sent via email a voucher code. So we need to paste it in here. So here's our voucher code, and it's just a series of characters, and we'll copy it and paste it in there. And then we'll press Apply Voucher. It's telling us it has one license currently available because there's not been used yet. We'll press Apply Voucher, and it says the voucher code was applied successfully. The unit needs to be power cycled to complete the licensing process. So now we've basically completed the process of licensing the unit, with the exception that we haven't done the power cycle yet. So after we power cycle, then we should be able to see on the system menu validation that the unit has been licensed. So now we'll do the power cycle. So here we're power cycling the controller, and we should be able to verify that we're licensed for enhanced IEC that you see by going to the system menu, going to the license details screen. And yes, it says here that we have an enhanced IEC license because that is set at yes. So at this stage, we can remove the memory card because we don't need it anymore if the permanent application isn't going to have a memory card. So that completes the process for licensing an eligible OCS unit for enhanced IEC. Now we'll wrap up our discussion for today. Enhanced IEC offers several advantages over standard IEC. It allows direct logic execution at runtime, maximizing performance and variable support. It also provides features like logic simulation, advanced troubleshooting tools like breakpoints and tracepoints, comprehensive system event handling, improved string handling, and a flexible Modbus data map. To use Enhanced IEC, you'll need a license for the XL series and XL Prime series. The upcoming Canvas series will come pre-licensed at the factory. In any case, the licensing costs for the XL series and XL Prime series are quite reasonable. That concludes our webinar for today. Thank you so much for listening, and the Q&A session will begin shortly.
Okay, a nice straightforward review of the enhanced IEC, which I hope will be of help to any of you looking to switch over. Next week, our webinar is on for and while loops. So if you have an interest in that, the registration link, as always, is in the webinar section under support, and you can get it from there, same time every week. Okay, thank you all for joining us this morning, and have a great day.